Every year, Japan produces more than 100,000 tons of green tea, but only a small fraction becomes matcha, the bright green powder that has become part of modern life around the world. But why is it so special, and what sets it apart from common teas? To understand it, we need to step into the fields of Japan and follow the process. Matcha has its origins in 12th century Japan. Zen monks used it to maintain focus during meditation. Over time, its cultivation was refined, especially in the region of Uji, south of Kyoto, where the mild climate and constant humidity created the ideal environment for precision tea. Unlike other teas, matcha is not infused. The entire leaf is consumed in powdered form, which multiplies the amount of nutrients, antioxidants, and chlorophyll. That is why its production requires such strict control. Every variable, from the amount of light to the speed of the mill, affects its flavor, aroma, and final texture. So how is this intense green powder produced? 1 month before harvest, the most distinctive stage of the process begins: shading. The Camellia sinensis bushes are covered with hand-woven rice straw panels or natural mesh that reduce sunlight by up to 90%. This technique, known as tana, completely changes the physiology of the plant. With less light, photosynthesis slows, and the plant responds by producing more chlorophyll and amino acids. This chemical shift gives matcha its deep green color and its umami-rich flavor, a smooth taste with no bitterness that sets it apart from other teas. The shaded environment changes everything. The air becomes more humid, the soil retains water longer, and the leaves develop a softer texture. At the same time, caffeine decreases and theanine increases, the compound responsible for the calm and focused sensation. In essence, the producer manipulates light to alter the internal chemistry of the leaf. This balance between science and tradition is the foundation of ceremonial matcha. Meanwhile, industrial crops that skip the shading stage produce cheaper teas with less sweetness and lower nutritional value. After 30 to 40 days in that dim light, the plants are ready. With the arrival of spring, the fields turn a vivid green. It is time for the harvest. Only the youngest leaves, the ones at the top of the plant, are picked. They are the softest and richest in natural compounds. Harvesting is done entirely by hand, 1 leaf at a time. There are no machines and no mass cutting. Every movement is calculated. A single picker may gather only a few kilos per day. Precision is as important as speed, because an extra cut or a damaged branch can alter the final flavor. The freshly picked leaves are transported within hours to the processing plant. The first step is steaming. A flow of hot steam washes over the leaves for a few seconds. This treatment stops oxidation, preventing the leaves from darkening or developing bitter flavors. The timing must be exact, between 15 and 20 seconds. A longer exposure cooks the leaves, and a shorter one causes the color and aroma to fade. The steam locks in the bright green tone and preserves their natural freshness. During these seconds, the leaf softens and releases a strong vegetal aroma, a sign that the volatile compounds remain intact. After steaming, the leaves move to the cooling stage. They are spread across perforated trays while controlled air currents reduce their temperature and remove excess moisture. This step stabilizes the cellular structure and prepares the material for final drying. If the air is too hot, the leaf burns. If it is too cold, it retains moisture. In the traditional farms of Uji, this stage is carried out in century-old ovens that use indirect heat at a constant temperature. Slow drying gives the leaves a subtle toasted aroma, a hallmark of artisanal matcha. Once dry, the leaves pass through a cleaning and sorting phase. Stems, thick veins, and irregular fragments are removed. What remains is a thin, brittle leaf known as tencha, the pure base of matcha. Sorters evaluate its color, texture, and aroma. The best batches show a deep jade green and a fresh, sweet scent. Any variation in tone can reveal shading errors or issues with moisture. Only the most uniform leaves advance to grinding. At this stage, the human eye is still more reliable than any machine. Since experience can detect variations, sensors cannot. The tencha then reaches the heart of the process, grinding. Here, modern technology steps aside, and the traditional method takes over. The leaves are ground slowly in hand-carved granite stone mills. Each mill is made of 2 circular pieces with spiral grooves. As they rotate in opposite directions, they crush the leaves into an ultra-fine powder. The movement must be slow and constant to prevent heat from friction from altering the natural compounds. 1 hour of grinding produces only 40 grams of matcha. It is a deliberately slow process designed to preserve purity. Crafting these mills also requires precision. They are made from selected granite blocks known for their density and ability to maintain temperature. Each groove is carved by hand at an exact angle that determines the flow of the material. A tiny mistake in the angle can change the entire texture of the powder. The artisans who build them follow centuries-old methods, and each mill can last for decades if properly cared for. Before being used, it is calibrated by grinding small amounts of old tea until the desired consistency is reached. Even the tool that grinds the tea is, in itself, a piece of handcrafted engineering. In traditional factories, dozens of these mills turn at the same time. The sound of granite moving fills the air. It is a quiet but constant job in which every rotation adds precision. The resulting powder is so fine that it can remain suspended in the air for several seconds. Under the light, its bright green colour shines with a uniform tone. At this stage, the matcha is ready, but it is still extremely delicate. The freshly ground powder is packaged immediately. It is so sensitive to light, oxygen and moisture that it can lose quality within hours. For this reason, it is placed in vacuum-sealed metal containers designed to block out the external environment completely. Inside them, the matcha preserves its colour, aroma and freshness. Although it can remain stable for months, producers recommend consuming it as soon as possible to enjoy its most authentic flavour. Ceremonial grade matcha is different from culinary grade matcha in both process and ingredients. Culinary matcha is made from leaves harvested multiple times a year and ground in metal machines at high speed. Its colour is paler and its flavour more bitter. Ceremonial matcha, on the other hand, is made from the first harvest of the year, shaded and processed using traditional methods. Its texture is finer, its aroma cleaner, and its flavour more balanced. That is why its price can be 20 times higher. It is not just a luxury, it is the result of time, care, and expertise. The production cycle does not end with packaging. It begins again. In autumn, farmers prune the bushes, removing old branches and preparing the soil with natural fertilizers. This allows the plants to regain nutrients and grow stronger. In winter, new straw covers are woven to shade the next spring growth. Each stage of the year has a specific purpose, and producers follow it with precision. High-quality matcha does not depend on a single part of the process, but on the continuity between all of them. A mistake in cultivation affects the drying stage, and an error in shading alters the flavour. This is why the entire chain functions like a single mechanism. Every step has a purpose, and all of them rely on one shared principle, controlling every variable without forcing nature. The combination of technical knowledge and respect for the environment is what keeps this tradition alive, even in an era dominated by automation. Today, matcha has spread far beyond the borders of Japan. Its use ranges from the tea ceremony to cold beverages, desserts, and nutritional supplements. However, true ceremonial grade matcha remains limited. Only a few families in regions such as Uji, Nishio, and Shizuoka produce tea following the traditional rules. It is a craft that blends agricultural science with artisanal precision, and one that resists the pressure of industrial methods. The global increase in demand has brought new challenges. Reproducing the same level of quality outside Japan is difficult because the climate, the soil, and the local techniques influence the final result. The combination of shade, humidity, and temperature found in Uji is nearly impossible to replicate. Some producers have tried to use technology to imitate these conditions, but the results still fall short of the Japanese standard. In this sense, matcha is not just a product. It is the result of a specific environment and culture. The process also generates minimal waste. Pruned branches are reused as fertilizer, and the straw covers are replaced every year with biodegradable materials. Sustainability is part of the system, not a recent trend. Plantations are managed with soil rotation and natural pest control. The goal is to maintain productivity without depleting resources. Tradition has shown that it is possible to balance efficiency with respect for the environment. The tea ceremony, where matcha reaches its final form, reflects the same principle. Every step, from pouring the water to whisking the powder with a bamboo whisk, is performed with precision. There are no unnecessary movements. It is an act that summarizes the entire philosophy behind the process: focus, control, and respect. Even outside its traditional context, preparing matcha remains an exercise in attention to detail. Beyond its ceremonial or commercial use, matcha stands out not only for its color and flavor, but also for its benefits. Its high antioxidant content helps combat cellular aging and strengthens the immune system. It contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes focus and calm without causing drowsiness, balancing the effects of caffeine. It also boosts metabolism, supports fat burning, and helps stabilize blood sugar levels. Because the entire leaf is consumed, the body absorbs more nutrients than with other teas, including vitamins, minerals, and chlorophyll. This is why a single cup of matcha can provide the antioxidant value of several cups of traditional green tea. In a market where speed often matters more than quality, ceremonial matcha proves the opposite. Its success does not depend on scale, but on consistency. Every cup is the result of precise decisions repeated hundreds of times. From the first day of shading to the moment the container is sealed, every detail matters. This is why, when the green powder meets water and forms that bright foam, what you have in that cup is not just tea. It is the product of a coordinated chain of work that connects farmers, artisans, and tea masters. It is proof that even in modern production, there is still room for accuracy, patience, and respect for the process. After an entire year of cultivation and work, a single leaf becomes one of the most valued products in the tea world, matcha. Tell me, did you already know this process? I will be reading your comments. If you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe. In the windows you will see next, there are more industrial processes as fascinating as this one. See you next time.